Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Tati. I'm back at it again with another video for you guys. And today, this video is something that I take very seriously. It's going to be me discussing just the climate of change that we're in right now, how Black lives have been affected, not just recently because of the death of George Floyd, but since for as long as anyone can remember. There's been a divide between races of people, and you can't even say races of humanity because it's just difficult to understand, and for some strange reason it seems to be something that's never ending, never changing. It's not I know that nothing happens once in a person's lifetime, so there's always a second occurrence or a third occurrence, but this I feel like is something that needs to be addressed and put behind us so that we can move forward and we can move on and live in a peaceful time. So this video is very touch and go for me. I've put off doing something like this. One, because we weren't the case involving George Floyd and recent cases, they weren't finalized as yet. We did get the verdict that the officers in this particular case have been arrested, so that is good, I guess. Well, it is good. Secondly, the reason why it took so long to make any video voicing my, I guess, thoughts on what's happening is because it was hard to process all your emotions, and you want to make sure that I wanted to make sure that what I was saying didn't have any biases or was just a portrayal of my anger towards the situation. So that's why I'm making this video right now. So as you guys know, well, if you've watched my channel or heard me speak some places, I guess you can pick it up, or I've been told that I have an accent. I don't really hear it because it's my voice, but I'm sure other people do. But I'm Jamaican and I was born and raised in Jamaica, so as you can guess, when I was growing up, there wasn't an issue of racism where I was, in the country that I was, because unless you were a tourist or you were just lacking in pigmentation, because we do have really light-skinned people that you would think they were white, but both their parents are black and they're fully Jamaican. It's just their skin color. They have dark hair. It's not albinoism. They have dark hair, dark eyelashes. It's just their skin color. We call them red people. I thought that was the one man that I knew growing up. We called him Red Man because of his skin, and I thought that was just me and my family. But when I grew up, I realized it was a generalization of all people that looked like him. So yeah, I didn't really experience racism growing up. Colorism, yeah, because that's the thing that we as Black people need to work on with ourselves and come to terms with the fact that we do have a big issue of colorism. So when I came to the United States, firstly, when I found out that I would be coming to the United States, I never really thought of my reaction to meeting a white person, because I've seen them on TV and I just thought, okay, they're just regular people, it's just their skin that's different. And again, I've seen people with the same skin color, so it doesn't matter that I don't think I've ever, before coming here, I don't think I had ever met a white person, like an actual white Caucasian person. I don't think, I can't recall ever meeting a Caucasian in Jamaica. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but so yeah, I never really met a white person back home until I got to the United States. So when I got here, it was the 4th of July. I got here at nighttime, so when I was touching down, all the fireworks, I still remember all the fireworks were going on. And I had already met, well, not met, like had conversation, but I on the plane, I had seen, I'd seen them, wasn't phased, so I didn't really get any type of weird vibe or feeling from anyone once I arrived here, because I guess I didn't really meet anyone. Spent the summer, and then of course school, had to set up for school and stuff, had to speak to, like, hold conversation with the lady that was doing all my paperwork and stuff for school, and she was white, and I didn't feel any weird way. But when I got to school, started school, that's when I realized there was a change in how people spoke to you or expected you to speak or come across, because some of the first, when I introduced myself, you know how you have the big introduction, first day of school, they ask you to stand up and say your name and introduce yourself. First thing my teacher asked, never had white teachers before, the teacher asked was, "Oh, you speak so well. Why do you speak so well?" That was a confusing question. How was I supposed to speak? I'm at school. It's not like I know her. I don't know you. I don't speak to you like a friend or a family member. I wouldn't come out speaking patois to you because you don't know me, and I'm not sure if you would even understand me. So that was a weird question, and I realized it was going to be a question that I was asked all the time, and even by like peers, they would be, "Oh, you're not a real Jamaican because you don't sound like the Jamaicans I've heard." So I guess you could say it's a stereotype. But then when you meet more people and you realize that, oh, it's not just the stereotype. Because you have the people who are focused on the stereotype, and they'll say, "Oh, maybe you're just from the nice part of Jamaica," and blah blah blah, and they get past it. It's not really an issue. But then you have the people who, I've actually gotten into an argument because someone was like, "You're not a real Jamaican, I have real Jamaican friends, and they don't talk so nicely," or whatever. And so your perception, what I got from the conversations like that, is their perception of me or my culture is that we don't come across as intelligent people. And I just thought that it was just a cultural difference. Most things are a cultural difference with me and the people, and Caucasian people that I meet. So those were basic issues. They're just simple issues, simple instances. As I get older, you leave school, you meet people for work, or you're in an environment where you're the only black person or one of few that are in your area or where you're working. You realize you are treated differently, and even black people, they make it what irritates me the most is they make it a point to lower themselves around white people. "Oh, don't talk so loudly." They change the way you have black people speaking differently. You have your white talk. You have so it's basically changing the way you speak around white people. That is so irritating. Okay, so where was I? So yeah, you're in an environment where you're the only black person, or a few of you are working together, and you're in an area that's predominantly white, and you feel like you have to change the way you speak or speak to them. I just always realize they lower themselves, make themselves more available, or more likely to be questioned. I don't understand why they put themselves in that position, because I never had to growing up. But you get more, I've become more assimilated to it, whereas even people that I work under, I realize that as soon as they, of course you have to speak to your boss with respect, but they lower themselves, they shrink themselves. The way they talk to them is more soft, more of like almost like they're afraid, and it's weird, and it's just, I don't know if more people realize that they do it, or that it's being done around them, because I'm sure they don't talk to their friends, or not even friends, but other coworkers, black coworkers. If you had a black boss, you wouldn't talk to them in a completely different way. And black Americans themselves say, oh, I have to put on my white talk when I'm in a certain environment. Or you find the only black person in the crowd and you give them the nod to be like you're in solidarity together. Why do you feel like you're in a crowd of people, but because you're the only two that look alike, you need to form a bond of protection? And then there's always a division in everything. Growing up, there was the poor, middle class, and the rich. Here, it's the black poor middle class and the rich, and the white poor middle class and the rich. You have the black churches, the white churches. Why is everything split? You have there's a color difference in everything, and certain people don't see it that way, but it's hard not to, because you're not going to tell me that you don't have specific areas that are predominantly white, and you know that they're the poor white people, and then you have the hood or the ghetto, that's the poor black area, and you have the rich white area and the black rich white area. You have the black rich schools and the white rich schools. But either way, no matter how the division is, even if they're rich black people, the white rich area is still better for some reason. I don't understand that. And black people put that label. We do put the label on ourselves. I see that sometimes, because they'll say, oh, I'm the only black person in my area, and take so much pride in that. Or I'm the only black person that works at my job, and there's so much pride, and almost like you're giving off an impression in the way they say that. Why is that a good thing? Could you not find an area where it's predominantly black or mixed, and it's still as impressive as just being in a white area only? So moving forward on what's happening now with George Floyd, it's very heartbreaking seeing the video and hearing a grown man cry by the hands of another man. And people say, oh, crime happens all the time, every day. Black on black crime is happening every day, and it's not about it's a murder. We're not fighting. People aren't protesting and fighting because, oh, a white man killed a black man. We're protesting and fighting because a man killed another man, and justice is not it was prolonged, or we had to fight for it in the first place because it was a white man with some stature. That's what Black Lives. I saw a post. People have been regularly posting to, if they couldn't be out on the streets marching and protesting, social media is playing a big part in helping people who can't actively go out on the road. So I saw a post explaining what the movement Black Lives Matter means, and it was saying that it's not about excluding ourselves from white people or the All Lives Matter movement. We know that all lives matter. It's the fact that when a white man kills a white man or a black man kills a white man, justice is taken swiftly and families are being taken care of and being put into consideration. So everything is moving timely with care. But where it's a black man's death or a white man's crime, they're not taking there's no haste. We don't get the same care or urgency. That's what Black Lives Matter is fighting for. The same respect and urgency that a crime of a white man or the victimization of a white man would get. We don't have, and if you find that every time someone says Black Lives Matter, your protest to that is All Lives Matter, because it is a protest against Black Lives Matter. Believe it or not, it really does stand against everything that someone is trying to say. You don't go, people are all for the LGBTQ community, and of course there's protests against it, but no one created a whole movement to shadow their fight, their protest to be heard. So why is it that we created a movement for ourselves and someone felt the need to create a whole entire movement that takes away from the value of what we're trying to say? George Floyd is one of many people, black men, and even black women. We don't hear about them as often. Their stories are told, and it just goes away after a period of time. The trend dies. George Floyd is like, I guess you can say, the straw that broke the camel's back, and it was because of how heartbreaking the scene was. He's a big man. He was a big man. He could have fought. He could have pushed that man away. He could have fought, but he laid there on the ground, surrendering himself to another human being, allowing himself to be put down like an animal. And that's what broke America's heart. That's what broke France's heart, because you have the world standing up for this. All 50 states of the United States are standing up for this. I don't see how people can be so unmoving and uncaring in a situation where all we need is your heart and sympathy to be put forward, to show care, that you have the same respect for any human being. This video was just so difficult to make. I wasn't even sure I was going to make it, but I do have friends that are not of the same race as me. They may not be white. I have my friend Mary, she saw the video. She really wanted me to make the video because she said that I guess she thought that it would affect me. She knows how I am when it comes to issues like this. I'm very vocal about it. I get very upset. So she reached out to me, and she's all the way in Venezuela, stuck there because of COVID-19, and she reached out to me saying, I have to do a video about this because oh my gosh, because oh my god, it's so bad. I didn't want to make the video. I really didn't. But I just wanted to put out there that I'm really happy that the whole world is seeing this and they're putting their foot down, because even older black people, I know how it doesn't seem that far away for them. My generation, we haven't experienced the hardships, because all the things that they fought for or were too scared to fight for, but they made their voices heard, are what we feel so comfortable in. they're the reason that we feel so free to be saying, oh, this is the greatest place in the world, or America is one of the greatest countries in the world. It's because of people who fought to make it a place where they feel like they're heard and are understood and are taken for who they are and what they look like. So when you see another person, your elder or any person really, that's being taken for granted and put down like an animal and abused, you shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't feel like, oh, this country is still the greatest, so even though we have our flaws, it's not, it doesn't outweigh all the good. People are not supposed to be a balancing sheet for whether or not, okay, so he dies, but it's still, George Floyd was a human being who got put down and taken away from his family and from his world, from his life. He got his life taken away. That is something that should touch you with everything in your heart. It's supposed to come at you like a horse, because it could have been your father, it could have been, and it doesn't matter if you're white, it doesn't matter if you're black or Spanish, it doesn't matter what shade of skin color you have. You are supposed to feel, oh my God, that is a human being lying on the floor yelling, I can't breathe, and I want my mother. That is what you're supposed to feel. That is, you're supposed to cry, and you're supposed to say that is wrong, and you're supposed to protest that and fight against it. And I'm so happy that that's what people are doing right now. People are taking away from the protests because we have looters and people breaking into companies and stuff like that. Sure, it's wrong. I guess it's wrong. But if your mind is so easily swayed by something else, then you weren't focused on what's the real issue at hand. Because someone breaking into Target or the dollar store shouldn't take away from the fact that a man was beaten down and his life was lost. You were supposed to stay focused on what is actually most important right now. There are many stores in the world, and okay, they're losing money and people need to buy their groceries, but that man lost his life. He has a daughter that lost her father and a fiance that lost him, a mother of his child that lost him. He was somebody's son, somebody's friend, and he died. That is what is important, and your mind should not be easily swayed from that by something as I think as insignificant as looting. And I want people to realize that even though it's not only black people out there that are looting and taking stuff from stores, white people are out there as well. And sure, they're out there marching and protesting, and I hope that they see this as well, that they're not the ones getting the bad light. They're not the one being called thugs for doing the exact same thing that a black person will be doing. Just last week, I'm exaggerating, but just last week we had white people out there standing up with their guns, making it heard that, oh, you can't take our rights away, you can't do this and you can't do that. Then why do you feel like black people standing up for what they believe in and standing up for it's not even what they believe in, it's standing up for their lives, is dangerous and needs to be put down, calling in the military, being sprayed with tear gas? Why are you treating human beings that you claim to be God-fearing people, why are you treating one of God's creations like this? The whole thing is very disturbing, very disappointing, and for the human race, we are very disappointing. And it's very sad that in a time where we feel so advanced and so far away from the past and the nomadic period, whatever you want to call it, that we still have barbaric stuff like this still happening, because that's what it was. It was barbaric, it was inhumane to be standing, kneeling on someone's neck with your hands in your pockets looking totally unfazed while 3 of your peers stand watch. So these people needed to be put away. I'm really happy that they did. I don't think it should have taken that long. I don't think it should have taken that much effort. And this, as I say again, this is why Black Lives Matter, the movement, means so much. And this is why the people who protest saying all lives matter, they need to look into themselves and realize that they're a protest against something that is just so basic in our human nature, to want to survive and to want to live freely and happily. And they need to really look into themselves and wonder why they feel so threatened by someone that doesn't even look so different from them. It's just their skin color. That is the only difference. And our features might be bigger and more bold, but you have people in your race that have big features and are bold in whatever way they are. So why is it that our skin color is the only thing that separates us, and it makes such a division in everything, in every aspect of your life? I think this video was just the basics of what I'm feeling and what I wanted to get off my chest and what I wanted to speak to everyone about. Hopefully people feel like I addressed what needed to be addressed, and it would help me if you guys check out some of the other videos like this, people who are expressing themselves and making themselves heard and are calling attention to what they need to, what they feel is important and need to be heard. Thank you guys for watching the video, and if you have any comments or stuff that you feel like I should be aware of, or even if you disagreed with some of the things I said, I'd still like to hear it. So please like the video, well, you don't have to, or share the video so other people can see, and maybe it'll help them process whatever they're feeling and get someone else's view on the whole situation that is happening right now. So see you guys later.